Hello again, guys and gals. Welcome back to Massey Manor. It's Monday, the 26th of June, and we've had a bumper weekend for news. So let's quickly go over exactly what's been announced before we get started with the new farm. So first off, on Friday we had the announcement from coming out of Farmcom in Germany of the Platinum Edition expansion for Farming Simulator 17. It's the mid-cycle expansion. It's been announced, and we do have some details. We don't have everything yet, but we do have a fair bit to go on. So, first off, the release date, it's going to be released on November the 14th across all platforms, so PC, Mac, PS4 and Xbox One. We don't have any pricing information just yet. That is still to be announced. Probably still to be determined as well. They probably need to just nail down the final pricing. But on top of that, we do know that if you are a console owner and you have the Season Pass, you will get the expansion for free. That has been confirmed by Giants. So we knew that there was one last DLC to be announced that would be included in the Season Pass. I honestly thought that that would be a DLC like the Big Bud Pack or the Coon Pack, and then the expansion would be separated out and we would have to pay for that regardless. But it turns out that that is going to be the final DLC included in the Season Pass, which kind of suggests to me there will be no more DLCs until Platinum has been released. Whether there'll be any more DLCs after Platinum is not known yet. There may well be more, but Platinum is the last one that will be covered by the by the Season Pass. So anything that is subsequently released after that, we will have to pay for as a console user, regardless of having the Season Pass or not. But still, to get the Platinum expansion as part of the Season Pass is great news. I'm absolutely thrilled to get that. It means I've already paid for it effectively because I have the Season Pass. So that's fantastic news. Location-wise, we know it's going to be set in South America, so right in the heart of sugarcane country. Now, I personally think, given the brands that they've announced and the fact that we're getting a brand new crop in sugarcane, I think the new map is going to be set in Brazil, but we will have to wait and see, obviously, for Giants to confirm or deny that. Along with the new crop, as I say, we are getting new equipment as well. We're getting new brands. We're getting Stara, Double T, Bison and Gessner. They are the 4 new brands that have been announced. That doesn't mean we won't get anything else from other new brands, but they are the 4 that have been announced so far. We may possibly get additional new brands added in as well, but that's what we know for now. Now, Stara are a Brazilian agricultural firm, which again lends weight to my thought that we might be getting set in Brazil for the next episode, or sorry, for the expansion map. Double T, not sure where they're based, but they kind of manufacture sugarcane equipment. Bison are a Polish combine company that was actually bought out by New Holland. I think back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And Gessner International is a Australian company that does a lot of equipment for sugarcane harvesting as well. On top of that, from the pictures that they released, we also know that there's going to be a new cabless version of the Massey Ferguson, which will have a sunshade, kind of similar to the options that we have with the Massey tractors over here. So we have these, obviously we have these Massey tractors as part of our old generation pack here. Now we can actually fit these without a cab, or at least not the 3000 series, but this one, the 600 series. We can have a cabless version. As you know, we have one just over there, just straight ahead of us. And you can fit a sunshade over the top of that. Now that's the shade that we have mounted on our tracked 200 series. I think it's 200, or is it 300 series? This one here. the 200 series. So here, this is a sunshade. Obviously, it's got the metal logging cage around the top. So if you ignore that and pretend that that wasn't there, basically this sunshade with these supports at the back here that are sticking up, that is the sunshade version, and we can fit that on our 600 series over there as well. And we are going to get a modern day Massey with one of those sunshades. So whether that'll be an optional extra and we can have it completely cabless, or whether it just comes either with a cab or with a sunshade, we don't know. Again, we'll have to wait and see for the pack to be released. But it's great to see that we're going to get some variation and the ability to maybe get cabless cabless modern tractors as well. We also know that we're going to get a monster combine from Case, designed specifically for sugarcane harvesting. It looks fantastic. Can't wait to use that piece of equipment. It really does look impressive. And also in one of the pictures there is a dirt bike, which kind of suggests that we may have a new sort of rideable transport vehicle in a dirt bike, as the sort of Brazil-inspired, variation of the pickup truck, or the modded Mustang or transit van. So that's really, really good to see. Lots of great options appear to be coming with the expansion. I can't wait for that. And obviously, a lot more details are still to come on that, but we'll have to wait and see, what happens with those. As far as any other details go, I don't really have much more information on the pack just yet. That is what we do have. But yeah, definitely looking forward to the expansion when it's released on the 14th of November. And I will, of course, keep you updated on both my Facebook page, Jim Bob Plays Games on Facebook, and here on some of my channel videos as and when new information comes to light. In other news, on Saturday was the result of the mod contest. Results, as I should say. There were multiple categories. In terms of the public vote, the one where everyone who has downloaded and voted on the mods had the chance to choose the winner. The winner for that was the Seasons mod by, and I apologise if I'm pronouncing this wrong, Realismus. It's a wonderful mod, and apparently he did state that he would be willing to work with Giants if he won to try and make it console compatible. Let's see if that does actually happen. I would love for that to come. That would be fantastic. But as things currently stand, it's not going to happen. But in the future, with Giants backing and support, who knows? Who knows? We may well potentially see Seasons at some point a long way down the road come out for consoles. That would be cool, kind of cool to see. Also, there were other categories in the mod contest. I'm not going to go into everything on that now, but full details are available on my Facebook page as to who won each category and what they won, and the runners-up as well for each category. So do check over to my Facebook page. I'll link that in the description below, and you'll be able to check out all that information there. So yeah, exciting weekend. As I say, we've had the results of the mod contest. We've had the Platinum DLC expansion announced. Really looking forward to all the future news to come on the DLC. And also, now that the mod contest is over, we'll start to see a pickup in mod testing again. So hopefully some of those mods from the mod contest will make their way over to console. Obviously this old generation pack was initially supposed to be in there. We've already talked about that, we won't go into that again. But I think there are a couple of other entries that are definitely being submitted, and I'd like to hope that quite a few entries from the mod contest will be submitted. There were over 90 entries in the end, so a lot were submitted. How many of those will come across, I don't know. Probably not that many. The mod contest generally tends to be a technical exercise designed to really show off the prowess of the modders, which means they like to really go, to town on those mods, which kind of makes them, you know, oh, we got a great demand for wool. It's a shame we don't have any sheep. Um, Getting a great demand so early in the game is always a bit of a throw, one of those, it just throws you a little bit when you get a great demand so early. But yeah, as I said, the mod contest is usually a test of prowess to show off the abilities of the modders, in which case they tend to go, all out with their mods, which almost immediately means a lot of them will not be able to come to console because they'll just be too detailed, too heavy on restrictions for coming across, or they won't be licensed. In the case of the Ford pack that was a runner-up in one of the categories, we won't see that because of licensing restrictions. So again, we'll just have to wait and see exactly what does come across. But it's going to be an interesting next week or two as stuff gets put into testing. I'll also be keeping my eyes open, and hopefully we'll get a couple of those mods make their way over. I really want the fence to come over, the old school 800 favourite, and the 1050 as well. I'd really like to see those make their way over for Fent Farm. They would be fantastic additions to that. There you can see the grass being thrown out through the back of the header there, which is how it's rowed together. Really nice to be able to just get close and see things like that. So we're getting down to the last few passes on this rather large grass field right on the doorstep of our farm here. We are going to be scooping this up and then taking it down to the BGA. I'm going to start making some silage. I do want to be able to run a sheep farm on this map first and foremost, and then look to move to other animals as we progress. But I want to get sheep started simply because wool is a really great way to make money in Farming Sim 17, and sheep themselves excuse me, sheep themselves are really easy to look after as well. Just need a little bit of water, a little bit of food, and that's pretty much it. We can just leave them alone. So yeah, I'd like to get some sheep underway without bankrupting us by taking out a large loan just to get a small number of sheep. So we'll make some silage. We'll get all that sort of processed through, and that'll enable us to be able to buy in some sheep in a decent quantity. So this is it then. This is the last little patch that needs to be mowed. It'll take us 2 passes to do, but it's not a very big patch, so most important thing is just making sure we get it all. And there we go. So, if we look at our map, we go on to soil composition. You'll notice that this field now has that stage 1 fertilization. Now this is a byproduct of mowing your fields. If you have a grass field, when you mow it, if you've got 3 stages of fertilization set, as we do, then mowing gives that first stage of fertilization. If you only have a single stage, then it won't. If we turn that off though, you'll notice it also removes the need to plough the field. And those little red patches are where we've left little tiny clumps of grass. But basically what we've done there is by mowing, we've removed the need to plough the field, which has saved us which means our next yield will gain that 10% bonus for being on ploughed ground effectively. And with this stage 1 fertilisation, that means without any further work, we get an additional 30% on top. So mowing the field once means that when we come to mow it a second time, without doing any additional work, we'll get a 40% yield bonus, which is always going to be a nice thing. So let's go put this away, and let's go collect our forage wagon and forage header for our little Massey tractor. So there we go, it's the header back on the trailer. We will use that to transport when we have to go on the roads, but because we had, so close to the farm, that's why we didn't use it this time. So engine off, door open, we'll jump out. We'll leave the door open so that we can jump back in that way. So we're going to want some power with this one, so we'll take our 3000 series. Oh, that old school dashboard in there. And we also want our foraging header, which is this. Let's open the window, get some fresh air. There we go. Oh, open the door as well by mistake. Let's close that. Now we need our trailer as well. Now we can only hold 14,000 litres in this trailer, so this is going to mean a lot of trips. There we go. I've got to try and ease this around here. There we go. So far so good. So let's get that. We need to pipe out, which I think is... Nope. There we go. Piping out. We're also going to need to unfold that as well. So let's get up the top of the hill first of all. There we go. So this is going to be tricky. I'm going to have to do this outside of the cab just to get started. Just because I've not used this before and I need to judge my distances. Let's turn that on. And there we go, look at that. Oh, look at the pipe as well. The pipe is actually wrapping over the top. How cool is that? I mean, with that loading wall, we're actually kind of a touch... Well, it's because of the slope that we're on. It's actually going into the top of the trailer, but how cool is that, though? The way it kind of just wraps over the top of the trailer. That looks awesome. And we're only going at 6 miles an hour, which is really slow, but... That looks really, really cool. Definitely going to be a long job to do A, this field, and B, just, in general. When we've got, small operating widths like this and slow operating speeds. But that's part of the challenge of running old equipment. It's going to take you a long time to achieve what you could do with, a lot faster with much more modern equipment. There we go. Can't really see in cab whether we're collecting or missing anything. But it's pretty wide, compared to, the swaths that we're picking up. So we've got a little bit of sort of a leeway and flexibility on that. does look so cool. So once this first one is done, we're going to detach the trailer, and then we'll use our 600 series to take the trailer down to the BGA. We'll unload, bring the trailer back, and then carry on doing this. Oh, we might actually have some issues with these trees here if we're not too careful. Well, that's the 10,000 mark. I love the grass dust that's sort of billowing up there as well. And there we go, this is old school foraging. The trailer's filling up really nicely as well. Oh, there we go, we're full. Didn't hear a beat, so obviously we'll have to pay attention to that in the future. So let's disconnect the trailer. Turn that off. Let's jump into our... where is it? There it is. Our 600 series. Oops, no. We want that closed. There we go. Let's open the window and get some cool air in. Let's go grab our trailer. And then we'll take it down to the BGA, empty it, bring it back, and rinse and repeat until we've done the whole field. There we go, trailer attached. Not sure, but it looks as though those rear wheels do turn a little bit. There's a little path down here. There we go. Let's see if we can pay attention to those wheels. Yeah, they do turn just a little bit, look. Oops. Do get a little bit of steering in those. There it is, you can see it much more clearly there. There is a little bit of steering in those rear wheels, that's good to see. So, off to the BGA we go. Alright, so here we are. Just going to set the cruise control for 1. A mighty 1 mile an hour. Just so I can get a nice controlled tip. And I'm curious, does this have a grain door as well? I think it does. Let's open up the help window. Yeah, we do. We have a grain door. Oops. Yeah, there it is, look, right in front of us. There's the grain door. Or we can just tip with the back. We're going to tip with the back. So, let's get right up against the back wall. There we go. And cruise control and tip. Oh, it goes pretty high. Look at the height on that trailer there. There we go. That's it. That's the entirety of it. 14,000 litres of grass. It looks like nothing, doesn't it? Let's obey the rules of traffic flow here. So far we've done 3 tips at the BGA, and as you can see, we've barely scratched the surface of this field. There is still a huge amount of grass left to do. But what we're also going to do is, because I do plan on getting involved with animals at some point in the not too distant future with this series, one of the things I am going to do is store a load of grass in our silos, because the silos here on Old Stream do allow you to store more than just traditional grains. You can also put grass and straw and hay, and I think manure, and maybe even, you know, TMR in there as well. So we're going to store some of this grass in the silos so that when we do have animals, we have a nice stockpile of grass that we can just immediately grab and tip straight into one of the food troughs. So bringing the first trailer load in to tip at our silo. And we'll have to stop just there because we need to open the door. There we go. Now, can I actually back this in while not being able to see where I'm going? That's about that. Beautiful. Right, so we are going to have to use the grain door. So, there we go. It's still tipping all the way up. In fact, let's actually have a look at this in action. Doesn't look like it's going quite as high, but it's still going pretty high. There is that little grain door, look. These would be great for refilling the seed tanks on the big bud equipment. You know, if they were filled with seed or something like that. You'd be able to be quite accurate. Or unloading onto a conveyor belt as well. Nice small grain door like that gives you, you know, quite good accuracy when it comes to precision unloading. So, there we go. Let's drive back through the silo unload point, or, you know, tip point. No, I suppose it'd be the loading bay area. Let's just have a look. So, obviously we have nice big storage, 300,000 litres here at the farm. So, what can we store? Well, wheat, barley, canola, sunflowers, soybeans, corn, grass, straw, hay. That's everything that we have in so far. And potentially we could add in some other stuff in there as well. We just don't have any of that other stuff to try that out. Let's carry on working the field. Okay, so I've just dumped yet another load of grass into our silo. Now I'm going to drive back through under the pipe and see just how much we've actually stored in there so far. $66,000 litres. That's a nice, good amount of grass. I mean, until we have a lot of animals, we won't need anywhere near as much as that. So that's a nice, good stored amount to keep us going. So the rest of the grass that we have on the field is now all destined for the BGA. Well, there we go. We finished the field. And this last little bit that we have, this last sort of 4,000 litres or so, we'll tip that into our silo. There's no point taking this down to the BGA for such a small amount. Although we do have other grass fields that we could mow as well. We'll come back to mowing at a later time. We've got a nice sort of stash of grass built up now. I'm amazed this trailer isn't dirtier, actually. Thought this would have picked up quite a lot of dirt, but it's pretty clean. I mean, this is obviously very dirty. It's picked up a lot of dirt from going over that grass field, as has the tractor. And I just don't understand why this washing is here right next to a high pressure washer. It's just going to get covered in spray. This is why the washing never ever goes off that line, everybody. It's because it's constantly getting soaked by people using pressure washers. That's why that washing never ever goes anywhere. It gets put out, it starts to dry, it immediately gets soaked again, and it's left out to dry off, and then immediately gets soaked again, and so on and so forth. You get the idea. So, all of our grass work for that particular field is done. We've got a nice little supply of grass in the bunker at the BGA as well. Obviously, we're not going to start compacting that yet. We've got a lot more to add to it before we start squashing that down and blanketing it ready for fermenting. But we have made some good progress. One of the things I have noticed with the Massey pack, not just from using it in this episode here, but also in some sort of testing on a private farm as well, is that it can, in some places, cause a little bit of frame rate lag. There are a few issues with little bits here and there as well, which is unfortunate. But Black Sheep are always very good at patching things. So I expect any issues like that will get ironed out and patched pretty quickly. So this one is the International, isn't it? So, not the International, sorry, the 3000 series. We'll stick that just there. There we go. And now we need the other one. There it is. Let's take this back to the farm as well. I tell you what, it's such a nice thing to be able to have these opening windows and opening doors. A lot of people have been asking, how is it possible that we've been able to get opening doors and windows on these tractors? Why is it that they don't break user scripts? Well, simply because they're not scripts. They're built into the controls of the vehicle. So if we open up the help window, you can see if we hold down L1 and R1 here, using the right stick left and right opens the door, and then using the right stick up and down opens the window. They're built into the control system of the vehicle. They're not scripts. An example of a user script on a door or a window would be on the PCs, where you have a little icon on the door and you click that icon with your mouse, and that's what opens the door, and that's how people are able to open doors outside of tractors. There'll be like a little icon on the handle, they'll click that, the door will open, they get into the cab, and then they look across and there's another icon on the handle on the inside, they click that with the mouse and the door closes. That's a user script. That's the kind of thing that we can't have on consoles, or at least I think we're limited to just like one or two scripts that are built into the way the machine operates. But we can't have interactive scripting like that on console. But these doors and windows, as I say, they're built into the control system of the vehicle. That's why we have them in our controls box up here in the top left corner. So they're not scripts, they're controls. And that's why we're able to have them. Some of those other issues that I've discovered is mainly to do with this cedar. Now, for whatever reason, I think it's something to do with the weight properties of this, and it does not like working with the ground response mod. It bounces up and down like crazy like that when it's being pulled along. You'll see it jumping up and down behind the tractor, and for the most part, it's relatively okay. It will plant in a pretty uniform fashion, but every now and again it will jump so high that it literally just jumps too far off the ground to actually put any seed into it. So you'll get these little patches, these little strips where it doesn't plant anything at all because it's too high in the air to do it. It's frustrating and it's a little bit of a pain, but it's an easy fix would be is to simply just turn off the ground response mod, and then it's pretty much fine. I like to play with the ground response mod because it adds a little level of realism to your movement on fields. So I'm going to have to be careful when I plant with this thing, make sure that I'm not leaving big strips where there isn't anything. Another problem I found is with this cultivator. It's listed in here as having, if we can find it, a power requirement of 88 horsepower and an operating speed of 10 miles an hour. However, I haven't been able to get this thing to go above 5 miles an hour using any of our tractors. So that tractor there has a horsepower rating of around 80 to 90 horsepower, same as my other 600 series, and my 3000 series is 102 horsepower. All of those should be able to pull that at 10 miles an hour, but 5 miles an hour is the best I can get. Same with my tracked 200 series up there. That has 88 horsepower, so that should be able to pull that at 10 miles an hour, and it just can't. 5 miles an hour is the best I've been able to get out of it. So there is something wrong with this cultivator as well. I'm not entirely sure what's causing that issue. It may be just that it's too heavy, or it just needs to be tweaked. But I think this is an error that's specific to console. I haven't seen people on PC complaining about that particular error. So that's something else that needs a little bit of attention. But generally, so far, I've been very happy in testing with the old generation pack. So I am really enjoying it so far. So we need to start work on fields now. We've done some mowing. The reason I went with the mower in the first episode is because, well, I say the first episode of the reboot. This is what, episode 20, I think, in the series. The reason I went with the mower first is because most of the people I've spoken to, that was the one piece that they were most excited about, was the self-propelled mower, and that and the tracked 200 series as well. So we'll put the tracked 200 into effect in the next episode. We'll start ploughing some fields and getting ready to do some planting, and then we'll look to maybe expand with an extra field or two nearer the farm as well. So thanks for watching. I am Jim Bob, and I will catch you back on Massey Manor on Wednesday for some midweek Massey.